Hello, Daniel. How are you doing?
Hello, Lalita. Pleasure to meet you here. All good?
Good. So, are you ready to have our conversation on transition? Yes. Okay. So,
Yes, I'm
today,
ready.
as
I'm ready to
part,
tell about a little bit more about the transitions that I faced in my life.
fantastic, fantastic. So, today, as part of the series of courageous conversations, I'm in conversation with Danielle Parissa. Now, Danielle, from a role perspective, has been in marketing and branding, but she has gone through significant transitions in terms of culture, in terms of country, in terms of uncertainty, and also in terms of the expansion of her role that she was doing before to what she did in future. Danielle, thank you for your time to have this conversation on your transitions journey with me. Um, Please start by sharing with us, first of all, what you do for a living, what's your role, and the career growth and transitions that you have been through so far. Please.
Okay. So guys, just introducing a little bit to you, who I am. I'm Danielle Parissa. I have 42 years old and I'm married with a pilot and I have two kids, 11 and 8 years old, companies under the marketing, the branding departments. And I would say that everyone for sure has faced any kind of transition in their lives, either
Yes.
like for the personal side or for the professional side. And I think that I faced it, which in my mind I have like four major ones. And all of them, even though has a strong leg on the career, has also a big impact also on our personal lives, because it's very
Connected.
interconnected.
Yes.
But I would say that the first one that I had, I used to work for Gillette, an American company, for sure you guys know the brand. And at that time it was a small organization in Brazil. I was in the marketing department, and then it was Procter and Gamble, P&G at that time, So we were kind of acquired by a bigger company, and we had to start learning, like how was the culture of this other company, like the different process that we had, different people, different brands. And we had to do all that while we were still managing the business and leading with our anxiety because we didn't know what was going to happen. Okay, I'm going to lose my job. Are they going to, is another person taking over what I do? Is my team continue the same? I remember that at that time I was having an MBA that was going to be sponsored by the company. And they said to me, no, now it's on hold. Let's wait until all this happens. And then like I had to wait one more year to have my MBA sponsored by the company, which went well. But it was just part of this transition, this uncertainty that we had. So that was the first one. And the second one that I had, this company, P&G, is the company that I spent most of time of my career. So basically almost 14 years working for the same organization, right? And I was in Brazil because I'm Brazilian. So most of my career was also there. So I knew Brazil like super well. I knew the customers, I knew like the people, I knew the culture. And then I was offered an opportunity to take care of Latin America, which was a much bigger region in terms of business responsibility, team responsibility. But I also had to manage like my family life, because my husband it's a dual career in our situation. My husband is also a pilot. At that time, we were able to also manage his transition, so he moved to a new company in Panama. That was the headquarters where I moved. And I also started this new job. But in that moment was a big change because I started having a much bigger team, different language. I knew Spanish, but like working with a different language as well,
Yes.
taking care not from just one country, that is Brazil, it's big, but it's one country. And then out of few days, I was leading like 20 countries, you know, from Mexico, Central America to Uruguay, Argentina, Paraguay, like all these different countries, which has a lot of complexity as well, but lots of growth opportunities, you know. So doing this transition, I learned a lot, because I learned more about my strength, and I also learned that about the possibilities that I still had to continue learning, you know, learning from different markets, different people. And so it was an amazing opportunity. And also from my personal life, you know, I had to make sure that my family was well set, you know, so how could they adapt as well to this new culture, this new country that we are going to live? It was going to be the first time that we as a family, the four of us, we would move to a country and be without our families, you know, without that full support that we usually have. And my kids, they were amazing, because they changed school super easily, no really adaptation. Few months they were speaking, and at that time they didn't know English and they didn't know Spanish. And you know, I think they just saw that my husband and myself, we were very excited, and we were open to learn and encouraging them, because we knew that not everything was going to be perfect. But they, you know, they saw us and they went with the same attitude. And I would say that a few months later, they were super happy living in Panama.
Oh, how
you
nice.
know? Yes. So that was my second transition. And then we stayed in 2 years in Panama. Okay. And at that time, the economy in Latin America was not doing really well. And for my husband, no, his career opportunities were a little bit limited at that time. And then he just received an offer to move to Hong Kong, you know, because for lots of airline companies popping up here in Asia, a great opportunity for him to continue that development by himself. And I said, wow, it's going to be an amazing opportunity for me to also get to know more about this other part of the world, you know. And I said, wow, Hong Kong, an amazing city. So it's going to be a great opportunity. The only negative side is that I had to leave the company that I used to work for 14 years at that time, because they didn't have any office here in Hong Kong, headquarter office. Yeah, because the headquarters from P&G is like more in China, in Guangzhou, or in Singapore. So I was moving here with a pilot, you know, 2 young kids. For me, it was very hard to have a split family. That was something that for our family, it was not what we were considering at that time, right? So I said, okay, so maybe it's the time for me to go and face this transition, move, go and look for another opportunity, another company. So then I moved to Hong Kong and started looking for a job. And I thought, okay, I have some good experience. I have some good education. I don't speak the local language, but I speak English. So I think it is gonna take some time, but I'm gonna get a job. And then I'm a person that I really, it's not that I'm super planned, but I have some certain level of planning. So in my calculations, in my plan, I said, okay, it might take up to 1 year for me to get a job in Hong Kong. So we did all the financials, considering this, and also like my internal expectation. But I had put this 1 year in my mind as the maximum. I thought I was gonna get earlier, but I said, no, let's be safe here. And probably in 1 year, I'm gonna get into this. And then what happened is that was the toughest transition that I had in my life. I would say more career transition, because I moved here and no one wanted to even have an interview with me, you know. It was very, very hard to reach people, to build the right connections. And people were just very not reacted, but not open to see, okay, a Brazilian, someone coming from Latin America that doesn't have anything to do with Asian, and then she doesn't speak the local language, no, because I don't speak Cantonese, neither Mandarin. So what is the value that she's bringing? And people were not even willing to talk to me, you know? And so I think it was very, very, very hard, because I started questioning myself, okay, what can I do? If this is not going to happen, what can I do instead? Because I was very used to work most of the time. So then I said, okay, what can I continue doing for my own development? So then I decided to take a master in fashion and luxury brands here in Hong Kong. I decided to take another online course at INSEAD focusing on digital strategy. So I said, at least I keep developing myself while the right opportunity is not coming, but it's not easy, There was lots of moments that I also had my ups and downs, and I was questioning myself. Why did we take the decision? Why did I take the decision to leave that company that I could still have a very good career opportunity? And then 1 year later, I was able to have an opportunity to do some consultancy work here in Hong Kong, So a friend that I got to know here, a Brazilian friend introduced me to a friend here. So again, all about connections. And then she said, wow, I know someone that is looking for some strategic work on branding. It's a Dutch brand coming to Hong Kong. Can you help them on this project? And I said, wow, excellent. So it's going to be a great opportunity for me to at least put my brand to work a little bit. Was something very good for me. I did this. And then a few months later, I think I was in Hong Kong less than 2 years at that time. And then my husband had another job to go back to Brazil and, and continue his career. Yes. So then so he had this opportunity. I was here without a full-time job. And then I said, you know what? Let's go back to Brazil. Sometimes we need to go one step back to then go 10 steps ahead. And I said, okay, maybe I go back to Brazil. It's like, it's not my comfort zone, but it's really where I have much more connections. People know me. I said, okay, it's going to be probably easier for me to get a new job than continue here. So then I decided to move back to Brazil. Super sad, because I love Asia. I love living here and the quality of life and the people and the business opportunity. I love everything. But then, okay, moved back to Brazil. I think maybe 2-3 weeks later, when I was there and my kids in the school, I had sold all my furniture. I was looking for a new house there. When I saw an opportunity at LinkedIn for a Brazilian company that was setting up a regional headquarters in Hong Kong and was looking for a marketing director. And I said, oh my God. When I read the profile, I said, no, this is for me. I said, this is for me. Like, this is what they are looking for. I don't want to be show off here, but it's just that I was so confident. I said, wow, oh my God, this can be for me. Yeah. And then I decided to apply for the LinkedIn position. And I applied. I was in Brazil. I didn't say anything to anyone, and then 1 week later, the president of this company, he called, which is Alpargatas, Havaianas, a flip-flop Brazilian brand. This guy called me and said, oh, I saw your resume, I like your resume. Are you willing to come for an interview? And the coincidence was that 1 week after, I was supposed to come back to Hong Kong to see, to get my dog that was still here. So then I said to him, okay, can we have an interview 1 week after? And then he said, oh, okay, great. So then I came to the interview. I had, it was great. We had a very good connection. I did an interview in the same day. He said, okay, can you have another interview with the people from Brazil online? And then the same week, another interview. And it just kept going so fast. And then in 10 days, basically, it was that, you know, like he, then they decided to make an offer. So I came back to Brazil, organized everything. And then a few days later, came back to Hong Kong to start this fourth big transition in my life that was from Brazil to working in Asia, you know, and learning how to work on the day-to-day with the Asians, how to interact with, I have 16 markets that I take care of. So from China to Australia, you know, the Southeast Asia, North Asia, and the culture is just amazing. And it's so different than what I was used to. And on top of that, I had to learn how to work on a startup mode, you know, because this company is very big in Brazil, but it was just setting up the headquarters in Asia. The business is still small here, you know. So I was the number four or fifth person that was hired. And basically the marketing department was just me, you know. So I had to do things from the super strategic, but also to the very operation, as going there and buy my computer. You know, I had to go there and buy my notebook, you know, all these things that when you are under a startup, everyone needs to do lots of things, you know, because you have you have a limited team. And it just like blew my mind, you know, because it's so nice after being for so many years in a very well structured company, which has so many good sides, but there are also so many opportunities, you know, and especially in the world changing so fast as we are now. Moving to this startup, that sometimes my boss would come to me and Robert and said, oh, Dani, why don't you do, like, it just depended on me. I didn't need to make 2 pages recommendation and then talk to one person, another person, just to get it approved. And then, you know, it was much more agile. So I also had to change a bit the way that I was used to work forward into this new world, new way of working, operating, on top of being in Asia, which was a different region for me as well. You know, so so I think I talked too much, but those are the 4 major transitions that I faced in my life.
Excellent. So how long have you been now in Hong Kong working for Hawaii now?
Like, I've been living here 4 years, but in this company 2 years.
2 years.
Yes, in this company 2 years.
And what happened with your family when you moved with Hawaiians? You had to come to Hong Kong because you're taken, your family was there, and then so how did you manage that? Because that was another thing that you had to manage, right?
Exactly. So then my kids, they were already at school, and that was March, April, you know, so that was in the middle of the semester. So then I had to ask like for family support in Brazil, our parents and to support with the kids. I came back to Hong Kong by myself, you know, working. And then in June, and I was also under a lot of training with the new organization, the new company. And then in the end of July, they came to Hong Kong. By the way, I went to Brazil again in the end of July for just 2 days, just flew there, picked them up, brought them back here to Hong Kong. But again, I had a lot of support for my family, for my kids. During this time, I also came here to Hong Kong, and I had to look for a new apartment, new schools for them, like new furniture. So I also dedicate a lot of time my free time at least, to set up everything, because I think this is really critical when you face all this transition. Is
Yes.
like what are the things that you can do to ensure a good setup, you know?
Mm-hmm. And feel
In
safe
that case,
as well, right?
huh?
And also to feel safe, because in all the novelty and all the new things that are happening around you, you also want to create a space for yourself which you feel comfortable and safe.
Exactly. And this is really what I wanted, because I said, oh my God, my kids have been facing a lot already, you know?
Yes.
So I want, at least when they come back to Hong Kong, you know, that they feel like home again, you know, that they had their own room, the house is it's organized to receive them, you know? So that was very important, because the time that they were in Brazil, this couple of months, they were like in my mother's house and my husband's families, you know, so they didn't have their space, you know, so it was like a long kind of holidays for them, you know. So yeah, so then I dedicated some time, and then when they came, everything was well set here, and they were able to come back to the same school that they were before, which also made the transition smoother. And then so I could dedicate a lot of time to, you know, to my work, to continue growing as well. And I think, Lalita, there is one more change here that I'm thinking, that is, even in this moment, what happened is that my husband had to change again
Oh
to
my
another
God.
job. Yes, then when I received this opportunity, which was what we really wanted, to come back to Hong Kong, there was not a position for him in Hong Kong anymore. So the only position that he got was in China. So then we had to have a split family, kind of, you know, like he was living in Shanghai for 4 weeks, and then 5 weeks here, you know, so 1 month there, 1 month here, 1 month there, 1 month here, for a few months, you know. So that was also another change that we faced, that thanks God we were able to overcome. Yes. This is it.
So you know, you have mentioned challenges that you face: country, culture, again, leaving all your comfort in Brazil, a market which you knew, or even Latin America, a market which you knew,
Yeah.
coming to Asia, which is completely new because you've never been to Asia before, coming without a job. So a lot of what I have been hearing throughout your challenges is a strength that comes out is your open-mindedness, your attitude of having a growth mindset. It's okay. I need to learn something. I will learn it because that's what is essential. I'm not going to approach something with a negative attitude. And I see that consistently in the way you just shared your story with me just now. So having an open mindset and attitude, hats off to you on that. And the question I want to ask is, what have been some of your enablers or some of your internal or external that has helped you with this transition? You did say family support, which again is important, right?
Yeah.
What else do you think were the enablers internally as well as externally?
Look, Lalita, I think family for sure, as you mentioned. There was a time that I also get a professional coach to help me, especially during the transition from Panama, from having a job to here looking for an opportunity. In that moment, sometimes I got a little bit lost, you know, and I'm very, as you said, I'm a very optimistic and open-minded person, but sometimes I was like, oh my God, I have tried so much and I haven't succeeded. What else can we do? And then I decided to have a coaching section with someone. He was located in Singapore, so it was like online sessions, but it was really amazing, you know, amazing to make me make some reflections about
Yes.
what was happening, what I
Yes.
really wanted for my life, and what could I do to better overcome this situation, and what were the learnings, and how could I kind of even be open to maybe different companies or different positions, or doing other things, you know, leveraging on my strength or leveraging on what my aspirations were, you know. So it was very good because I have a lot of people that I was always talking to, right? But it's very different when you have a professional coaching with you, and that dedicates really the time just on you, you know. So I didn't have so many sessions. I think it was like between 5 to 10, but it was just enough for me to overcome this situation, you know, and to say, oh yes, really, now I know, and this is the direction, these are my strengths, so this is what I'm gonna focus on. And also sometimes to see, okay, what was really the issue. Sometimes the issue, I was making the issue bigger, you know, because at the same time there were so many positive things, you know, like I was just not making money, I would say, but my family was taking care of the house, my kids, I was having a lot of quality time with my kids. I was having a lot of time to do sports, which is something that I love, that I didn't have time before. It was my first time in my career that I took some time off to completely disconnect, you know. And he also helped me to make a lot of reflections on the things that I wanted to let it go, you know, in my life, which was very important to sometimes, okay, yes, this doesn't mean that is what I want in the future, you know. And so those are the
enablers.
Enablers. Oh, sorry. And on top of the coach, there was one more. I started doing some meditation and yoga as well.
I see. Okay.
So it's where I for the first time, I had never taken any yoga class. And then I started taking it. And then in the beginning, my mind was, oh no, I'm super energetic and I'm not gonna go to a yoga class, you know. But it's a completely wrong idea that I had, you know. And I completely really fall in love with yoga, and then I learned the meditation, and then I started seeing lots of positive impacts on my life, you know. And so I think having the family support, I get the coaching, and then doing this mindfulness and the yoga, like, just helped me a lot. And nowadays, yoga and meditation are really part of my life on the day to day. It was not just in the most challenging moments in my professional career, but it continues with me because I see values. I see these impacts on my daily life. You know? Yes, on my daily life.
And I totally relate to that, because I've been doing yoga now for close between 12 to 15 years. And
wow.
Yeah, I don't claim to be an expert or anything, but for me, yoga started as a physical exercise, right? Go and do the different poses and feel energized. And I've always used to go for the flow classes, the fast classes, hot classes.
Yeah.
I still do. What has changed for me, and the turning point for me, was, you know, in yoga, they tell you, connect your mind, body, soul with your breath. Right? And for me, when I started making that connection, that's when, even if my mind was hassled and troubled because of what happened at work or whatever, right? It enabled me to be more grounded and more calm in a difficult time. And I still remember one of the instructors saying, take every challenging pose in yoga as a challenge in your life and see how you can deal with it. And I thought that was a very nice comparison. We can fuss about it and get frustrated and get angry and get all of that, and that's not going to move us forward. Whereas when
Yeah.
we say, okay, this is a challenge, how do I deal with this challenge in the best way possible? And I think you've shown that consistently. So there's one question I wanted to ask you. Your open-mindedness, your optimism, your attitude of not giving up, but being open. Where do you think that came from for you? Who inspired you to be that way? If
You
you don't
know,
mind me asking.
yeah, no, it's good, but this is part of the resilience. But I think when I did the coaching section, he helped me to understand this. And I used to be an athlete. I used to be a squash player, and I was professional. Like I started with 11 years old, and until I was like 18. But
Wow.
then I joined the university, and then I had to make choices, and I stopped. But I think sports have a lot of impact on my behavior, on the way that I am, and like putting challenges to myself.
Right.
So I think this, and having this resilience, sometimes sometimes you don't win, but then how can you get prepared for the next time, for you to be in better shape, and all this really connected to also my happiness.
Yeah.
So either in the sports or here in this moment that I was doing, sometimes I'm very optimistic, because I try to really see the good sides on the things, and be happy, and balance my life, like professional career, but also my personal career. So I don't know, those are the things that the sports, it taught me a lot. And my family, I would say, my parents also incentivizing me, to like, don't give up. If this is really your dream, you can go, and you can go and do it. I also remember when I was young, and my father was not in a very good financial situation, but I really wanted to live abroad. And at this time I was at the university, but I didn't speak English well. So I said, okay, so I'm going to start working, and I'm working in a real estate. And I was studying at night, and I got the money, and I sold some property, and I got the money. And then I was able to go and live in the US for 1 year. So I was very kind of persistent,
Yes.
But again, all connect to sport. In my case, was the sport pushing me on this.
Excellent. So what would be your message to women in general, or even men, based on your own experience of what you have gone through in life? What would be a message for people who are either they take the transitions out of choice, like in my case, right? When I moved from banking to what I do now, coaching and facilitation, I did it out of choice, and yet it was difficult. And when the transition just happens to you, like when you had to move to Hong Kong because your husband had got an opportunity here, and you decided, I want to be part of a family, and it was just you didn't choose it, but it was just given to you, right? So what would be your message? So that people can undertake the transitions, and also be more open-minded and have the right attitude, like you have.
Yeah, like for me, really, sometimes we don't know where the life can take us, and I would say that not even in my best dream, I would think on working for Havaianas, which is the #1 Brazilian love brand in Asia. Like even when I decided to move here, I don't know, Havaianas was not in my mind. I had all the companies that I was looking for. And so sometimes we don't know what is expecting, what is waiting for you, what is waiting for you. But I think we need to follow our heart, follow what we are feeling in that moment. I always try also to look for my happiness, and sometimes it's so simple. It's so simple, and it's in front of us, but we are afraid of taking this decision. And I think sometimes you just need to go And then
Yes.
you're gonna see that things start clearing up as you move in the way, you know.
Yes.
And then different
Yes.
doors start opening and different doors start closing to you. So then
Yes.
you need to open others. But I think we cannot predict everything,
Of
you
course.
know. We cannot.
Yeah.
So I think I try at least to take the life more more easy way, I would say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
following my gut and not being afraid of taking some risks. Of course, sometimes you need to see and think, okay, see the pros and cons and what could be the consequences, you know. You need to make your own reflections.
Yes.
But
Yes.
what I would say is that if you don't do it later on, you can regret of having not done that, you know.
So true.
So
Yeah.
and then it's going to be too late for you to go after your dreams. So I think if it's really aligned to the way that you envision your life and your happiness and this, you need to give a try, you know. And especially if you're not happy or you feel that you're in a comfort zone doing what you are doing, and you're not getting everything. So maybe this is really the right moment for you to try new things because you don't have a lot to lose, you know. And then is the moment to go and try it out. Probably what you need to do is, okay, just to think a little bit. Okay, sometimes it's the financial planning, or sometimes, I don't know, you know, sometimes you need to do just a certain level of planning to make sure you will succeed with this transition, you know. Talk to different people, but put a plan behind, and then go after this. I know so many people who have changed their careers, and they are new people. You know, they're completely much happier, I would say. And the door open, the life open amazing doors for them. And then they said, oh my God, why didn't I do this earlier? You know, why did I wait so long to make this big move in my life? So my advice to all women and to men as well, don't be afraid. Know what you want. See, you know, what would make you happy. If you don't know this now, try new things. Talk to different people. Do some coaching session that you get to know you better. You know, having this self-assessment, understanding. Because sometimes we need support to help us understand this. But then if you do these sessions, then we understand, then just build a plan and go and take the risk and change your life and be happy.
Thank you, Danielle. Yes. So in brief or in summary, essentially the message from Danielle is be open-minded, have a plan, but don't expect to predict everything, and take support and believe in yourself and go after your aspirations, and see and talk to people, stay with your connections, and make it happen. Thank you so much, Danielle. It was a lovely conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you guys, everyone. I hope you like it. And if you need anything, I'm gonna be around. Thank you.